When a man knows it's you, you don't have to spend every day convincing him of your value. You don't have to chase, compete, beg, or constantly ask where you stand. His behavior begins to speak louder than his words. Real love creates clarity, consistency, effort, and a desire to build something meaningful. He knows it you. When a man truly knows that you are the woman he wants, you won't have to spend every day wondering where you stand. His actions begin to answer the questions you are afraid to ask. He becomes consistent. He checks in because he wants to, not because you demanded it. He makes time for you because you matter to him. And most importantly, you don't constantly feel like you're fighting for a place in his life. Consistency doesn't mean he will be available every second of every day. Life gets busy. Work gets stressful. Problems happen. But there is a difference between a busy man and a man who keeps you confused. A busy man communicates. A man who cares finds a way to reconnect. A man who values you doesn't leave you sitting in uncertainty for days while expecting you to accept the bare minimum. Pay attention to patterns, not isolated moments. Anybody can send a sweet message one night. Anybody can make a promise when emotions are high. But consistency is what happens after the excitement fades. It's the phone call he makes when he said he would. It's the effort he makes to see you. It's remembering something important you told him. It's checking on you when he knows you're having a difficult day. It's making an effort even when nobody is watching. And here's something you need to understand. You should never have to beg someone to treat you like you matter. When a man genuinely values the connection, effort becomes natural. He may not always get everything right, but you can see that he is trying to get it right. That's how you recognize the difference between words and intention. Words can make you hopeful, but patterns tell you the truth. When his actions repeatedly match what he says, you don't have to force yourself to believe that he cares. You can see it. You can feel the difference. You can finally stop chasing reassurance because his consistency is already giving you the answer. When a man starts seeing you as someone he genuinely wants in his future, something changes in the way he talks about tomorrow. He doesn't necessarily announce it with some dramatic speech. Sometimes you notice it in the smallest conversations. He starts saying things like, "We should go there together when we get our own place," or "next year we could." Suddenly, you are no longer just part of his present. You're appearing in his vision of the future. That's important because people naturally make plans around the things they value. When a man is serious about you, he begins considering how you fit into the life he's building. He wants to know what you want, where you see yourself going, and what kind of future would make you happy. He isn't simply asking questions to keep a conversation alive. He's learning how to build something that can work for both of you. You may notice him asking about your career goals, your family, the places you want to travel, or even the kind of home and lifestyle you imagine having someday. He pays attention because your dreams are becoming relevant to his decisions. And don't misunderstand this. A man doesn't have to promise you everything immediately to prove that he cares. Real commitment develops over time. What matters is whether his behavior shows that he's making room for you. Does he consider you when making important decisions? Does he talk about experiences he wants to share with you? Does he introduce you to the people who matter to him? Does he make plans instead of leaving everything uncertain? That's where you begin to see the difference between temporary attraction and serious intention. A man who only wants you for the moment focuses on what feels good today. A man who genuinely sees potential with you starts thinking about what can be built tomorrow. So don't get distracted by beautiful promises. Watch what he consistently creates. Watch whether his plans have space for you. Watch whether his actions move the relationship forward. Because when a man knows it's you, he doesn't just enjoy having you in his life. He starts imagining a life that includes you. When a man truly values you, he doesn't only want to know how you look, how you make him feel, or what you can do for him. He becomes genuinely curious about who you are underneath everything people can see. He wants to understand your thoughts, your dreams, your fears, your experiences, and the things that make your heart different from everyone else's. That's when you notice the conversations changing. Instead of only talking about what happened today, he starts asking deeper questions. He wants to know what you're passionate about. He remembers the story you told him weeks ago. He notices when something feels different about you, even when you don't say anything. He pays attention to the details because you are no longer just someone he's dating. You are someone he's trying to understand. And ladies, never underestimate the power of a man who listens. A man can be attracted to your beauty in a moment, but emotional interest requires something deeper. When he wants to know the real you, he's investing his attention into understanding your world. He wants to know what makes you laugh, what makes you angry, what you believe in, and what kind of life you want to create. He may even remember little things you thought he wasn't listening to. Your favorite food, a difficult day at work, something you were nervous about, a goal you mentioned casually. Later, he brings it up because it stayed in his mind. That's not about perfection. People forget things. People get distracted. But when someone genuinely cares, they make an effort to learn. And you should pay attention to that effort. Because someone who only wants temporary attention is usually interested in what they can get from you. Someone who sees long-term potential becomes interested in what is happening inside you. He doesn't just want your time. He wants your trust. He doesn't just want your attention. He wants your understanding. He doesn't just want the beautiful version of you. He becomes willing to understand the complicated, emotional, imperfect parts too. And when you find someone who consistently wants to know the real you, don't overlook that connection. Because being truly seen is one of the deepest forms of intimacy two people can experience. Real love becomes visible when life stops being easy. Anybody can be loving when everything is going perfectly. Anybody can say, "I'm here for you," when there's no pressure, no disagreement, and no difficult conversation. But you discover what someone truly feels when the relationship is tested. When a man genuinely values you, he doesn't treat every disagreement like a reason to walk away. He doesn't disappear every time something becomes uncomfortable. He doesn't expect you to carry the entire relationship while he simply enjoys the benefits of having you around. Instead, he understands that relationships require two people who are willing to work through difficult moments together. That doesn't mean he will always agree with you. It doesn't mean every argument will end perfectly. It means he cares enough to communicate instead of running from the problem. Watch how he handles conflict. Does he listen when you're hurt? Does he try to understand your perspective? Can he admit when he made a mistake? Does he apologize without turning the entire situation back against you? More importantly, does his behavior change after the conversation? Because an apology without change eventually becomes another promise. A man who knows your value understands that protecting the relationship doesn't mean controlling you. It means protecting the trust you've built together. He knows that careless words can create wounds. Dishonesty can destroy security, and repeated disrespect can eventually make even strong love disappear. That's why his actions matter more than his romantic speeches. He may tell you that you're special, but does he treat you like you're special when nobody is watching? He may say that he loves you, but does he respect your boundaries? He may promise that he wants a future with you, but is he willing to put effort into creating a healthy relationship today? That's where the truth lives. And you should never confuse someone fighting to keep control of you with someone fighting to preserve the relationship. Healthy love doesn't demand that you surrender your dignity. It creates a space where both people can speak honestly, take responsibility, and grow. When a man truly knows it's you, he understands that having you is not something to take for granted. He doesn't expect love to survive on words alone. He knows that every day gives him another opportunity to show you through his behavior that you are worth the effort, worth the respect, and worth building something real with. A man who truly values you will never require you to become smaller just to make the relationship work. He won't need you to abandon your goals, silence your opinions, or give up the parts of yourself that made you who you are. Real love doesn't ask you to disappear inside another person. It gives you room to grow while creating space for both people to build something meaningful together. Pay attention to how he responds when you set a boundary. Anybody can be affectionate when you're saying yes to everything. The real test comes when you say no. Does he respect your decision, or does he pressure you until you give in? Does he listen to your concerns, or does he make you feel guilty for having them? A man who genuinely cares about you understands that your boundaries aren't attacks against him. They are part of understanding who you are. He also respects your independence. He doesn't become threatened because you have your own ambitions, friendships, interests, and responsibilities. He doesn't need to control every part of your life to feel secure in the relationship. Instead, he wants to see you succeed. That's powerful because healthy love isn't about possession. It's about partnership. You should be able to have your own dreams while supporting his. You should be able to spend time apart without the relationship falling apart. You should be able to disagree without fearing punishment. You should be able to express your feelings without being made to feel ridiculous for having them. And when a man knows it's you, he doesn't constantly compete with the strongest parts of you. He appreciates them. He sees your confidence and doesn't try to destroy it. He sees your ambition and doesn't mock it. He sees your independence and doesn't automatically interpret it as rejection. Instead, he understands that the woman he loves is a whole person, not a possession. That doesn't mean healthy relationships have no compromise. Of course they do. Love requires flexibility, patience, and consideration. But compromise should never mean losing your identity. So don't measure his love only by how intensely he wants you. Wash it by how respectfully he treats you. Because the right man won't make you choose between loving him and respecting yourself. He will understand that the healthiest relationship is one where two complete people choose each other freely, without fear, pressure, or control. One of the clearest signs that a man genuinely knows your value is the peace you begin to experience around him. Not because the relationship is perfect, not because you never disagree, not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you no longer feel like you have to constantly decode his behavior to figure out whether you matter. When someone truly values you, their actions create a sense of security. You don't have to spend hours staring at your phone wondering why he hasn't replied. You don't have to analyze every word he says. You don't have to compare yourself to other women or constantly question whether you're enough. There is a difference between excitement and anxiety. Sometimes people mistake emotional chaos for passion. They think the constant highs and lows mean the connection must be powerful. But real love doesn't require you to live in a permanent state of uncertainty. Healthy love can still be exciting, romantic, and passionate while also giving you emotional stability. Think about how you feel after interacting with him. Do you usually feel respected? Do you feel heard? Do you feel comfortable being yourself? Can you communicate your feelings without being punished for them? Can you trust what he says because his actions usually support his words? Those questions tell you more than 1,000 romantic messages ever could. A man who knows it's you doesn't intentionally keep you guessing just to maintain power over you. He doesn't disappear so that you'll chase him. He doesn't create jealousy simply to test whether you care. He understands that trust is built through honesty and consistency. And here's something important. Peace doesn't mean ignoring red flags. Sometimes your anxiety is telling you that something genuinely isn't right. Don't silence your instincts simply because you want a relationship to work. Pay attention to patterns. If someone's behavior repeatedly makes you feel insecure, disrespected, or emotionally exhausted, that's information you shouldn't ignore. The right relationship won't make you perfect, and it won't remove every fear you have. But over time, it should create more safety than confusion. You won't need to chase what is willingly choosing you. You won't need to beg for communication from someone who values connection. You won't need to convince someone of your worth when their behavior already reflects that they recognize it. So remember this, the goal isn't to find someone who makes your heart race every single day. The goal is to find someone whose presence allows your heart to rest. Because when a man truly knows it's you, love doesn't feel like a constant battle for reassurance. It feels like two people choosing each other with clarity, respect, consistency, and intention.